What's up, strugglers? Comic King here. Welcome back to another video and happy Superman week. In honor of Big Blue, I thought we'd talk about my top 5 Superman stories of all time. These are my personal favorites, so if they're not yours, that's a-okay, but sit back, relax, enjoy the video. These are my favorite Superman books of all time. I love so many Superman stories, man. I have so many favorite comic books, but these 5, really 6, because we give you an honorable mention, really speak to me and stand the test of time. And I always go back to these 5 stories. It's just my personal favorite. There's a crap ton of other books that I really love from the Big Blue Boy Scout, but these are just my favorites that I always find myself rereading and going back and checking back out. But yeah, anyway, I thought before getting to my top 5, I'd give an honorable mention. I love this book so much. It's so hard for me not to put this on my list. And I could easily do a top 10 Superman list, but I want to keep this video shorter with just a quick watch that y'all could do right after seeing the Superman movie or going beforehand, and just check these 5 books out. If you're a Superman fan, or if you just love the movie in any way, even if you don't like it but you're still a Superman fan and you want to check out material, these 5 books, really 6 books, I think would be a great starting off point. You'll really understand the character of Superman, and it's fun material to read, and it'll really dive you into the character if you so choose and have interested in reading. So my honorable mention goes to Superman Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow by Alan Moore, Kurt Swan, George Perez, and Kurt Schaffenberger, I think is how you say his name. Yeah, guys, so basically this was the final Silver Age, Golden Age, basically the final pre-Crisis Superman story before Crisis on Infinite Earths and before John Byrne rebooted the Man of Steel with the 6-issue limited series going on with Superman, Action Comics, and the Adventures with Superman. And this was basically the last story, and they brought in Alan Moore, who was a superstar at the time. You know, he was writing Saga the Swamp Thing at the time. I believe this was either right before Watchmen came out, or he did this right as Watchmen was coming out. 1986, that is a special year for DC. A lot of things were going on at the time. But basically, DC brought him in to basically tell the last story of the pre-Crisis Superman. So it's got all this silly Golden Age, Silver Age stuff. But basically, yeah, it's the last days of this Superman. And it's kind of like this Superman's final story. And it's, as hokey as it is, it's freaking Alan Moore writing this thing, guys. So it includes a crap ton of darker elements, and for a Golden Age, Silver Age Superman, pre-Crisis Superman, he's got a lot of goofy elements in his lore and his pathos. Some messed up things happening here, man. And I'll definitely do another video at another time, going more in detail with this book. But man, it is, for an older story, it is brutal. And it's just fantastic, guys, and it's like Alan Moore at his best. Definitely, highly check it out, but this is my recommendation. I guess you could say number 6, but yeah, love this story, one of my favorites.
In your face, Superman!
No, loser. In yours.
Oh, shoot my monkey. I skywrote my own name.
Number 5, strugglers, goes to Superman Red Sun. This is, I believe, the Elseworlds story. When everyone talks about a Superman Elseworlds book, this is the book that they talk about. This and another book I'll get to on my list. But to me, this is kind of the Superman Elseworlds book. And, there's been so many, but just this really stands the test of time. And this is actually my favorite Mark Millar book, which is funny because maybe second to Old Man Logan. That's one of my absolute favorites. But someone as cynical as he managed to write a darker Superman story. However, what makes this one of my favorite Superman books of all time is that despite Superman landing in Russia as a baby, he still contains, and his core values still remains as he becomes the Man of Steel when he grows up to run the country. And that's what's great, is a lot of crazy stuff happened. It's an alternate take on not just Superman, but the DC universe. You got a Russian crazy terrorist, anarchist Batman. You got a Wonder Woman who's supporting basically what Russia's doing in here. You've got the Green Lantern Corps, a different variation on them. Lex Luthor becomes the president of the United States, combating Russia with Superman as the leader over there. This book is so good, incredibly well written, and just like I said, I just love it so much because no matter what happens, Superman remains Superman in this, because Superman at the end of the day just wants to help and save people. That's what Superman does. No matter where he is, he wants to help and save as many lives as he can, and that remains true in Superman Red Sun. My number 4 spot goes to Superman American Alien get that focus, by Max Landis and a variety of artists. Dude, this book is, oh man, it's amazing. It's one of my absolute favorites. I feel like it's not out there and as well known, and maybe it's because of the controversy surrounding the author that it's not as well known anymore. But when this book came out, man, oh god, I loved it. I just kind of picked it out. One of my favorite YouTube channels on the planet. Check them out, Comic Pop. They're amazing. They're my favorite YouTube channel ever. I heard about this through them. They were covering issue by issue and they really loved it. And I picked it up, and dude, this, besides my number one book on this list, is my favorite kind of depiction of Superman's origin. And that's kind of funny because almost, you know, for a character and a superhero who's got the most well-known origin of all time in all of comic books, DC just some reason thinks that nobody knows the origin of Superman, and in my opinion, out of any character ever, he's got the most origin stories out of anybody, and I just think it's really comical and hilarious. And so they just all run together, and yeah, a lot of them are amazing. I love majority of them, are some of my favorite comic books ever. But you know, typically, you know, not every other Superman story has to be a retelling of his origin. It's just very popular, and DC likes doing spinning takes on it, and I totally understand that. However, this is one that I just love, and it's not your stereotypical, just like my number one on this list, it's not your stereotypical origin book, because it's linear in the how the stories in this book take place over time, but it's not just directly, boom, you follow him the entire way up like maybe Superman's Secret Origin or John Byrne's Man of Steel, and you get the picture. Superman Birthright. This is a 6-issue limited series, or I believe either 6 or 7 issues. Basically, each issue is a point in Clark Kent's life, and each issue's like several years has passed. So it's like the first issue, he's like a young kid. Second issue, he's a teenager. Third issue, he's in his 20s. You get the gist, and it goes through, and then finally by the last issue, everyone knows him as Superman. He's got the Superman costume, anything, and all that jazz. And yeah, man, it's great. It's an Elseworlds book. It's in its own universe, so you get to see different versions of other characters. It's got a cool spin on not just Superman, but a lot of other characters within this book and DC characters. How he also, one of my favorite moments in any Superman book and just all of comic books is how Superman gets the first version of his costume in this book. Dude, it's hilarious. I love it. It's so Superman and also so Batman. But maybe that gives you a picture of what it is. But yeah, man, it's so great. This book does not get enough love. I wish it'd get out there more. Everyone who I've given this book to borrow or read or given it to him as a present has absolutely loved it. This is not talked about enough, but it should. But yeah, Superman American Alien is my number 4 on this list. Check it out.
Why are you here, Kryptonian?
Art Struggle is my number 3. I really struggled putting this book on this list or finding this place because it's not only one of my favorite Superman books of all time, it's one of, if not my favorite, Justice League book of all time, and one of my favorite just comic books ever. I love this book, and for a long time, I didn't include this in my Superman rankings or when my Superman suggestions were given to people, because to me, it's really a Justice League story. Is it really a Superman story? Is it a Justice League story? I kind of like to think of it through the same viewings as like you watch Captain America Civil War, the movie. It's really Avengers 2.5. It's an Avengers movie, but it's through I'd argue it's an Avengers film, but it's through the lenses of Cap. He's the protagonist. It's through his point of view. This is basically how I talk about this book. It's basically a Justice League story, but through the viewpoints of Superman. He's kind of the catalyst for things kicking off in this book, and the whole story and everything revolves around him and his character. My number 3 goes to Kingdom Come, about the fucking legendary Mark Waid and even more legendary Alex Ross. This is one of, if not the greatest Elseworlds story of all time. I mean, so many of pretty much my favorite comic books are Elseworlds stories. You got Superman Red Sun, The Dark Knight Returns is technically Elseworlds, even though that's my headcanon for the last Batman story. But yeah, man, this is an alternate take. Basically, the world is doom and gloom. There's a lot of new superheroes. All the old traditional superheroes have gone out, they're away, they've retired or gone away or abandoned humanity. And it's in the future, and basically the world is run by, sometimes corporate superheroes and also young superheroes that run amok and don't give a crap about destroying areas around or containing civilians. It's very much akin to also one of my all-time favorite in continuity Superman books, Action Comics 775. What's so funny about True Justice and the American Way? That's one of my all-time favorites, definitely in the top 10 for sure. But yeah, Kingdom Come, it's iconic. It's got my favorite Superman suit of all time. I absolutely love this logo. James Gunn that partly inspired Superman, the movie, his movie 2025. He takes the logo, just a spin on it. Really cool. And man, this book, what can I say about this book that hasn't been said enough already? It's a classic. Basically, I like to think of it as the Dark Knight Returns for Superman. Superman retired after something really devastating happening on the Daily Planet, and he getting blamed for the downfall. Basically, he has to come back. He thinks he's coming back to save humanity. However, there's a twist. It turns out him coming back out of retirement is the reckoning and start of Armageddon. Basically, it's the catalyst for that event, and it's basically how do these heroes and Superman deal with the events, trying to prevent the worst from happening. And it's just a masterful DC story. It's amazing. This is my favorite work by Alex Ross. It's just incredible. Strugglers, if you haven't read already, you gotta go check it out. But yeah, my number 3 goes to Kingdom Come. Alright, strugglers, my number 2 on this list. This is gonna surprise the heck out of all of y'all that this is your number 2, not number 1. But yeah, it's my personal number 2. It's still one of my favorite comics of all time. I've already talked about it on the channel. Okay, number 2 goes to All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison and the legendary Frank fucking Quietly. Dude, this book is, again, just like I already did a review on it, talking about it. If you want my full opinions, what I think, and how, everything that I feel about this book, definitely go check out my review on the channel. But yeah, man, this is just one of my favorites, not just Superman books, but favorite comic books of all time. And it's basically the premise is Superman gets on a mission to save basically he's on a rescue mission to save an astronaut group that took a voyage to the sun. And in doing so, some things went wrong, and on his journey while saving them, he was poisoned. He got too much yellow sun radiation, and now he's having radiation poisons, and he's basically got 1 year left to live. And then this is even though the Death of Superman's a classic, this is the Death for Superman, in my opinion. And basically, he's got a year left to live, and he's dying. And it's basically, he's got so much things he's got to get done and left to do before he passes. And dude, this is just, one of the best Grant Morrison, if not the best Grant Morrison book. It is one of the great Superman books. This is the main inspiration for James Gunn's Superman movie. When you watch that film, God, it's amazing. You gotta go check it out, guys. But when you watch that film, you can absolutely tell that he takes a lot of inspiration from this book, and that this is the main source for the movie. Because it is comic booky as hell, but the thing is, it's not afraid to do so. Because honestly, you can have stories be hella comic book and have cheesy elements, but if it's written well, man, and it's such a, well-crafted story, people aren't going to care, man, because this is just, it's a fantastic comic book. And Superman's always been a little hokey. The Superman lore and mythos has always had hokey elements. Like, you can have serious Superman stories like Red Sun and Kingdom Come, but also Superman, you got to pay homage and homage to the classic days of Superman. That's what James Gunn he does. That's what Grant Morrison does with this book, man. He pays homage to the Silver Age, Golden Age, every era of Superman, and puts it all in one story and makes it work, but how at the same time modernizing it, basically at the same time, while including all those elements. And it just makes for one of the best comic books of all time. But yeah, Star Goes, my number 2 is All-Star Superman. You gotta check it out. Alright, strugglers, my number 1 favorite Superman book of all time. This is my personal favorite. If it isn't yours, that's okay. Definitely, I still highly recommend it. Check it out, give it a shot. But my personal favorite Superman book of all time is Superman for All Seasons by the legendary Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. I love this book so much. I have all 4 of the single issues. It's a mini-series. I have the Absolute Edition, and I also have a trade paperback I'm currently letting a friend borrow. But yeah, man, this is just one of my favorite comic books of all time. This topped The Long Halloween is my favorite Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale book. And dude, this book just, it gets the character of Superman. It's basically, it's not quite an origin story, but this really goes in line with, if you want to read Man of Steel, John Byrne's 6-issue limited series Man of Steel, which was the first post-crisis origin story for Superman in 1986 and 1987. Basically, he retold that Superman, or the origin for Superman, updated it. He made Lex Luthor just instead of a straight evil mad scientist. He's still a scientist, but he's also like, a Trump-esque businessman as well, corrupt billionaire businessman who's obsessed with destroying Superman any chance he gets, right? And this kind of is, I would say, the complement to that origin story, where it has origin elements, but basically just like American Alien, it's 4 issues, and each issue is a different point in Superman's life, and each issue is also narrated by a different character. So basically, issue 1 is Pa Kent, issue 2 is Lois Lane, issue 3 is Lex Luthor, and then issue 4, I believe, is Lana Lane. And man, dude, this is just, oh man, I love this book, and it's still pretty linear. I'd say it takes place over probably about basically 1 year of him becoming Superman, right? So I believe so. Each issue is a different, season for all seasons. You got the first one in spring, second one summer, third one fall, and then the last issue is winter. And my personal favorite issue is the first one. It's narrated by Paul Kent, and it's just got some of the best dialogue ever. I mean, just check this out. Folks tend to call him the Man of Steel nowadays. I guess that he's the most famous person in the world. Not that he ever was interested in being famous in the first place. It will leap tall buildings in a single bound, change the course of mighty rivers, faster than a speeding bullet. We knew he was special, but people will talk. Believe it or not, there was a time before all that when he was just a man's son. My son, Clark Kent. Man, dude, the first time I read that, I was like, oh my God. This issue, especially, the whole story brings tears to my eyes. And it's also just got one of my favorite splash pages of all time. Tim Sale uses watercolors in the story. It just knocks it out of the freaking park, man. It is gorgeous. It's very, I guess you could say, like Darwin Cook inspired. The art is just amazing, and Superman's kind of drawn as a country boy strongman. He's got that kind of farm strength, a country boy look, and he looks like just a strongman. He's kind of big. It kind of reminds me of the Bruce Timm drawing, from the animated series. And it's just a beautiful story, man. It's a one and done, and the reason I love it so much, it's like, yeah, there's a bunch of action, but that's not the focus. The focus is just on what does Superman mean to the world, the American people, just everybody in Metropolis, and just the world in general. What does his morals and everything he stands for mean to the general populace, and can he, is what he's doing right? And obviously it is, but basically it talks about how his supporting cast, talks him up and just say there's no one on this planet like Superman that is as wholesome, as good as a human being than him. And it just shows the strength of Superman, and it's just a beautiful story. Those were my top 5 Superman books of all time, with an honorable mention. There's so many other Superman books. I could do a whole nother video of just more Superman stories, and I probably will over the time. I want to save a lot of those books for other reviews, breakdown, beatdown, and so on. But yeah, go check out Superman. Just came out. Happy Superman week. I hope y'all really enjoy the movie. I know I did. There's a review coming up very soon. Talking spoilers, it's to give you, I gotta see it more than once just to give you a capture of how I feel on the whole movie. But yeah, guys, that's my top 5 Superman books of all time. I'll put the link for each story in the description box. You gotta go check them out. And thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. And yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, keep reading, and get the pulp. I'll see you later. Ow!